Today we have a special guest. We have Mohammed Kashif. He's the managing partner of Kaizen Analytics, and he's coming to us all the way from Pakistan. And I think he's the first we are having from I think from the other people we've had. I don't think nobody has come from that part of Asia. So it's a very big honor that we're having him joining us. And unfortunately, it's a bit inconveniencing for him because we are eating into his night. It's 10 p.m. over there for him, but he's been generous to do this session for us. And Kashif has over 17 years of experience. He's been doing trainings in person and across the globe. He's been to many other countries, but sadly he hasn't come to Africa. So hopefully, maybe one of you in the audience will be. It will be nice if you connect him with a project that will now eventually bring him to Nigeria. You know, there's a whole lot of companies that operate in Asia and Africa together. So it will be nice one day that he's able to present to us, you know, at an event live here in Nigeria. And also to, I know there are events that we sometimes get Microsoft to host, and they allow they allow us get speakers from across the globe. I'll be sure to let him be aware of those ones so that we get to see him in person. So I don't want to take too much time introducing. So you already have this link. I'm going to share his website and any other things I can grab that you maybe LinkedIn and all that you can be able to connect with him at. The title of his session is Dashboard Design with a Difference in Power BI. And he's going to be opening our eyes to how to design in Power BI in such a way that the management level officials, they are going to see what they need to see, what they are looking to see. So, Mohammed, I'm going to hand over to you right now. Thanks a lot. I'm going to stop sharing and I'll be in the chat box so that if anybody is asking question, I'll be taking note and or thank you. It's a pleasure to have you and the stage is yours, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for this wonderful introduction, and I'm really thrilled and I'm honored to present my session in this part of the world. And what I was surprised is that this is the first time anyone is presenting in this part of the world. So it's an honor for me to present myself in front of the Nigerian crowd and across the globe as well. So let me just turn on the slides and I'll request, can everybody hear me loud and clear and they can see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
I see your side.
Yes.
We hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's start the session. First, if the introduction has been given by Michael and a very generous introduction. So I don't have any other thing to talk about. But let's just discuss about things which I tend to do in my organization as a whole. So our service portfolio is focused on basically two areas. The first is we focused on the capacity building, not only the training, but the capacity building, because we don't focus on training because we feel that helping professionals in implementing the learning of training is the more important part, because they will have to implement the learnings in their professional activities and save time. That is what Power BI tends to do. The second important thing is we focus on data-driven decision-making projects with Power BI. So that the business can make informed decisions using their data to stay ahead of the curve. So it was a little bit about the organization which I run. So let me move to the topic which we are having today. So dashboard with a difference in Power BI. What is a dashboard? We tend to see the dashboards in a car. That is the first interaction which we have once we are a kid and once we are sitting in a car or a bus or a motorbike. So a dashboard is a control panel set within the central control of a vehicle display, which is always visible. So it's important, which is always visible and in front of the driver. So I may now revert the driver as controller, like the controller of a business. So it is in front of a driver, always in front of a driver. So there are two important parts. It is central control and it is in front of a driver. And the third important part is it only displays important KPIs and details of operations, which is relevant to that driver, or I must say that controller. There may be other details and KPIs of the operation of a vehicle, but it displays only the important KPIs, like the oil pressure, tire pressure, engine pressure. So these are the important KPIs for the driver in control of the vehicle. But once the same vehicle is sent for checking at the auto workshop, then their computer have more KPIs and details. For instance, to rate the operation of that same vehicle, which may include the seals, the roof, the suspension, the paint, scratches, dents, other imperfections, brakes, ABS operations, tires, wheel covers, battery, voltage, charging, engine, many other details, same details. But same organization, same car or same organization, the user is different, the details are different. So this is one of the key things which should be noticed before going ahead to dashboard design. The second thing is a golden phrase. Well, I would like to take this phrase, but I'm not the originator of this phrase. This is coined by one of my amazing friend, Osman Asad. He's also working in Power BI. Management don't buy fancy dashboards with a lot of charts, numbers. They don't buy pivot table, pivot charts. They only buy a solution which can easily and quickly answer their questions for effective decision making. If they have 5 questions in that specific decision making area, they want a simple to understand dashboard, even a bar chart, to quickly answer these questions and make decisions and implement it, and then monitor it so that the results can be shown for the next decision making cycle. They will include and exclude KPIs as the center stage because of if the level of questions change. But the important thing is they don't buy fancy charts, pivot table and pivot charts. They are looking for a solution. That's one of the key things. Next, the important matter which I really want to discuss, and then I will drill down further, is 3 matters: audience, the decision. A third one I have included recently, the place, and I'll share a story why I've included this place. First, the audience. Normally, in any organizations, there are hierarchies. So I've just divided the hierarchies into 4. They can be into 5, they can be 3, depending on the organization. But there are board of directors who are generally the owners and who just want to see the cockpit view of the organization. Then there is a C-level management, like there are CEOs, CFOs, COOs, CIOs, CTOs. So there is a key C-level management. Then there is a middle management, which can be general management, which can be senior management. And there is the line managers. So they can be assistant managers, others. So the same pyramid will be followed for KPIs, concerned KPIs as well. Board of directors will be interested in business growth as a whole. How much business has grown in terms of revenue, customer, market share, product line. But once the same business growth questions is handled by the C-level management like CFO, he will go further deep down in sales growth side he would like to see what is the impact of revenue on GP ratio, NP ratio, compared with last year, respective trends, account receivable over due dates, account payable over due dates, cash balances. But once it boils down to the third level, middle management, as the person who is looking after, say, accounts receivable, he will further drill down not only for accounts receivable amount, but he will also investigate the overdue percentage, days sales outstanding trends. And the bottom line is when the level of management increases, so their focus also shifts toward more critical issues. Remember the example of the car dashboard which I had discussed in the beginning? So that is the same which is happening over here. So first thing, audience. Second, decision. What decision the audience will be making from that organization, what type of questions they will be asking. As I've explained earlier, board of directors will be much more interested in the overall growth of the sale. C-level management will go deep down and will analyze sales growth by each product and region. Now there may be more than one areas in one region. So the middle management could go further down and see the growth of that specific area. And the land management will go further deep down to go for the specific store or specific salesperson. So the decision is important, and who is making the decision. The third thing is place. The third matter definitely is place, and I have added this because of one of my projects which I have been doing. And this, so once I just plugged my system to show the dashboard in a big conference room before the meeting. So I checked the functionality. So even the important KPIs were not visible from the seat of the CEO where he was going to be sitting in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So I just have to adjust all the things in Power BI in just few minutes. So hopefully I did that thing, but that is the very reason that the place is important once you are developing a dashboard where it will be reviewed. Normally, the board of directors and C-level management tend to review in a formal conference room. But there are certain organizations who do have their certain places, certain meeting rooms for middle management, line management. So understanding of the place is quite important. Now, let's discuss the general layout of dashboard. So first is who, definitely. So who is the audience or decision maker? Relevant KPIs, relevant details, and navigation tool to slice the information. So these are the general things. And we will definitely discuss other things as well. For instance, in a professional dashboard, logo is very important. So where to place the logo? The ideal place to place the logo is the top, either right or at the left side. In many organizations, they tend to have their document for even color and placement of logo and the font size, what kind of fonts they want to use. So if this is predefined earlier, so use that one. Otherwise, top right or top left is an ideal one. Second is context. This is important part because data is meaningless without context. So don't leave the data to speak for itself. Finance professionals should take each relevant analysis and convert it to a message for the audience by adding the context. What I mean by context, like I've added this context that what is the action needs to be taken. So like COGS and OPEX should be reviewed as the revenue has increased over the last period, but GP and NP hasn't increased over the last period. So top line has increased, but the bottom line hasn't increased. So there is there's an issue in the COGS and the OPEX. So it should be reviewed. So this is the top line. The context is there. It is written. And Power BI, the smart narrative is there. So you can do the fancy things with smart narrative. So smart narrative is used over here. So the numbers will change accordingly once the slicer is there. So if you use those things, this is important. Normally, there are 3 ways to add context, like comparison, like compare with similar numbers by providing benchmark, competitor analysis, prior period figures, trend analysis. For instance, our 20 million sales is 3 million more than last year and twice of our nearest competitor. So this is one way of comparison. Explain with analogs, like if we stop promoting, it will take 3 months to liquidate our excessive inventory of 2 million. So add business. Third one is add business interpretation. That, for instance, for every $1 of customer for product A, it will increase by say $24. So that is one of the ways of adding context, and there can be many other. So adding context is one of the key, and it is also part of the storytelling as well. Third thing is about humans itself. So for humans, they are very good definitely in limited type of numbers. So if 5, 6, 7 numbers are there, so they are good with this one. If that increases, so it tends to get confusing. So for a C-level person, if you are presenting to a C-level person, you don't want to waste their time. You don't want them to be confused, because if they are confused, you will have to rework once again. So leave it high level KPIs to 5 to 7, not more than 5 to 7, just more than 5 to 7. Fonts. Well, fonts are very important, and I will discourage to use definitely the fonts with sharp edges, because the fonts with sharp edges are not easy for the eye to understand. Like if I can review the texts which are written in the bottom, same word font is used, but it is not easy to understand. But at the top, all the words are very easy to understand. So use the font which is not using any sharp edges. That's one of the advice. Font size. Well, I will not limit the number to 36, 24, 45, anything, because what I've said, it all depends on the place. Remember, I've said in the beginning that it all depends on the place. So from where even the last person, from where he is seeing the numbers and the dashboard and all the things, all the text, it is important. So I will not give any numbers for the font size, but it depends from where the place is. Ideally, if it is a C-level dashboard, it will be reviewed in a conference room. So all the fonts should be visible even at the farmost seat of the conference room. Remember, I've discussed the place in the first few slides. So that is one of my advice. Colors. So work with different organizations, and some of the organizations are very specific about their colors. So they give the standards for the colors, hex code for the colors, and if that is not given, so you can use the color of the logo. So you can use either their standards or the color of the logo. So it will be much more easy for them to digest, or just review the reports which they are preparing. So if they are preparing any reports in pivot table and pivot charts, then they will be using some of the colors over there, and if they are comfortable with those colors, so if they are okay in the dashboard, then you can use that color. Otherwise, in the next slide, I have a limit of the color as well, because if you are using more than say 10, 15 colors, so it will be very it won't be comfortable for the user, any user. So limit yourself for using different colors, maybe 5 to 7. Use shade of colors. So shade of colors will give you the analogy. It will give you a flexibility, and definitely use the shade of color should be consistent. For instance, if you are using darker color for high value, so it should be consistent throughout the dashboard. Charts. As any charts is concerned, so if you are using any charts, any bar charts, so X and Y axis title should be removed. So if it is, say it is January or February, and Power BI will give you the column name as well, short month or month and year. So if it is January, it is known that this is a month. So just don't use the title of x-axis and y-axis. So it will definitely reduce the space, definitely, and it will allow you to have the charts in a much more bigger area. So it will save space. And definitely legends. If you can avoid the legends, that is easy to go. Navigation is important one. So use of slicers and buttons for easy navigation is very important. So I'll show the dashboard in Power BI. So I'll use various slicers and buttons using different techniques for bookmarking for this dashboard. So use of the slicers and buttons are very important. The next one is you're reviewing a dashboard with certain background. For instance, what I use, I tend to simplify things. So I don't go for fancy softwares for creating the dashboard background. So just use PowerPoint to create a professional background. If you can see over here, this dashboard has this background. This background is created in Power BI, PowerPoint. So from this one, from to here, it is just in PowerPoint. I can show you the PowerPoint as well, and I would like to discuss that PowerPoint. So this is the PowerPoint. Okay. So can anybody, all of persons are the PowerPoint is visible to all the persons?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So I've used a simple icons, simple shapes over here for this one, and to highlight them, I've used the format and highlight outline this one. Yeah, effects. So I've used the effects over here. So I've used this outer effects simply, and to place them over here to show the effects and to separate all the things. So these are the simple things which I've used. And let me just go to now Power BI file, which I was showing in the slides. So if you can see over here, all the top level things are over here at the top. The action needed, the contexts are there. And here we have used the smart narrative to have the dynamic numbers, whether it is increasing or decreasing. So we have these smart numbers over here. Here I can discuss just one card. This one card is created from 3 elements. This is one simple card. This is a card for a variance, and this is a customized card which is available. It is Sparkline from OKWiz, right? So and the cool thing about this card, all these cards, this customer card is it will give you the high and the low. So for all the high and the low, you don't have to do any fancy DAX versions. You just use this card, this chart, and this chart will display high and lows. Here as well, same technique. If I can review this one. So it is a simple chart of revenues with the trends. And here I use the a simple card with top 1. So I have used just top 1 function from here, just top 1 function to say just show me the top 1 say month by revenue. And this is used over here as well. If I go down over here, so this is, and definitely as a CFO, they tend to see the numbers, accumulative numbers. So accumulative is very summarized and crisp cumulative numbers are there. Revenue, COGS, GP, and this is created using the template because the template is used in Excel. So I've used a template over here. I've used a template of ISBS. So I've used this template. And by using the switch true method, I've just added the values over here. So this is a simple template which give you the bird eye view, a cockpit view for CFO. And the same for this balance sheet. So I've used the template for balance sheet where the assets, liabilities, owner's equity, all are differentiated. So if they want to see the numbers are there. If they want to see the graph, so this is our table IS. So table IS is the table for income statement, this one. And if they want to see the graph, a simple button is added with bookmarks and selections, and you can have the graphs. And a simple graph is there. For instance, the revenue, we haven't consumed the space is there, but we just use the hide and unhide feature to revenues with net profit, and just given the analogy of composition of COGS and operating expenses. Same here. If you just want to see the table of balance sheet, so balance sheet is here with tables. If you want to see the others like the graphs, so just go over here and you will see the graphs like the total assets, like total liabilities, and what is the owner equity. If you want to just revert back to tables, so you can revert back to tables. So the use of space is also important, but the important thing is that what is the key feature once you see a table, a dashboard. So the top part is very important, and you should give all the context and all the important things at the top part. The middle part and the lower part, definitely you can give more details over here as per the need of the user, but the top part is important, and giving context is definitely what I've said is all the things which you can help the user to understand better for the decision making. And definitely there are various slicers over here. So if the user is using for the first time, then you will have to navigate them, where to slice, how to dice, what is showing where. But once they are used to those things, so they will get familiar with all the matters. So this is a thing which I really want to, just a very crisp and clear kind of a thing which I really want to present to this team professional crowd. And now I'll open the discussion panel, and over to Michael for your working. Definitely.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. I also, yeah. So I'm going to. It's been amazing what you've shown so far, but I want to hand over to Tim.
Yes, please. If you have any question, please. I'm more than happy to answer your questions.
Okay, is there anybody? Sorry, is there anyone that has question in the room right now? Okay, I think Mohammed, no one has question. Can you go on?
There's one in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Emmanuel asks that, thanks for your great insight. I have always thought it's better to represent trends with lines of charts.
Okay,
Mohammed,
so
you get it?
Yeah, what is the question?
Okay, the person said, thanks for your insight.
Yes.
I also said that I've always thought it's better to represent trends with lines of charts.
Well, it will
depends.
Yes. Well, it depends on the person which you are presenting. The ideal thing is the trends can be presented in line chart. Definitely, I agree with this one. But if person, because this is part of the work which I am doing for an organization, so if they are comfortable with a graph with bar charts, so it can be presented in a bar chart if they are comfortable with the bar chart. But I agree with this one. If they want to just show the trends are much more easier for the lines, definitely. But the audience should be considered what they are doing for the past and what they are comfortable with.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So is there,
Sorry,
is there another question?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could add something to what Mohammed just said now. So really, the fact is different charts communicate differently. They communicate information in different formats, and why lines are usually recommended for trends. The other option you have for lines are columns, just like we can see on Mohammed's dashboard right now. And just like I said, it depends on what the client needs. So I can see that from his own columns now, for example, we have some columns that are highlighted, and I'm very sure that they probably just want to see those highlighted figures boldly, which would be represented better on a column chart than it would be on a line chart. Okay, so columns also show trends because you can read through the columns and you can see the ups and downs as well. What's really not entirely, I would say not entirely recommendable is when you use the horizontal one. This is vertical now, right? So when you use the horizontal bar chart for trend, then that does not really tell a good story. But for lines and columns, you can use them depending on what's the client needs and what information you are willing to portray.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. So is there another question? Okay, someone asks, Raymond asks that, thanks, Mohammed. How do you achieve highlighting some columns on your chart?
Highlights in the column chart. Well, this one, these highlights.
I think he's talking about those ones that are a little bit thicker color. Those ones are a little bit deeper blue.
This one, these highlights, right?
Yeah, yes. I think that was talking about.
Yes, so I've just used, if I click over here, I've just, yeah, I formatted it. So
okay, conditional formatting.
Yeah, so it was conditional formatting. So let me just see over here in colors. Yeah. So this is the conditional formatting which I've used. So let me just try to open this one. Yeah. So this was the conditional formatting which I've used. For higher, darker blue. For lighter, this one. So in colors, once you go in the bar chart in colors, you can use the conditional formatting over here for that colors, right?
Okay. Well, thank you, Mohammed. I'm sorry, is there any other question? Okay. So, Mohammed, do you want to continue or are you done?
Oh, I've just concluded the things which I have for this presentation. So if I welcome if any of the questions, if you want to ask any of add anything, so I welcome all those things.
Okay. May I have a personal question to ask you actually? So
Please.
I just started my data analysis recently. So I have this color issue I usually face. And most times I'm this kind of person, I'm always shy from colors. So you talked about a minimum of 7 to 5 colors, basically. So or you can use or you can use color shading. So which one is preferable? Is it a minimum of 5 to 7 colors, or preferable use color shading with different intensity?
Well, first just understand the audience and what the audience want. If the audience is comfortable with different use of different colors, then it is advisable to just limit yourself to just 5, 6, or 7 colors. So if you can see over here, I have not used more than 5 colors. It is just these are the shades. These are not the different colors, just to use the things which is the higher value and which is the lower value. Otherwise, there is not much of a color in this one. But it all depends on the organization and the user. Definitely more, if you go more than 5 colors, so it will be even difficult for me to understand what is going around. So definitely not more than 7, but you can limit to 5, 2 or 3 depending on the organization. But this is the numbers of the colors. But as far as the colors itself, yeah, the organization depends on the organization. If they have their standard document with color hex code. So I've received one document with standard hex code. So they just want these hex codes to be embedded. So there was one organization which don't have those things, so I just use the logo of their color to represent those things. So there can be certain things, and it comes with, once you tend to do projects in different organizations and you meet different type of persons and tend to handle those persons. So it will be polished along the way in your journey in Power BI.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so I have another question from Raymond. Raymond said that, would you say design fundamental is different across industries?
Design fundamentals are different across industries. Well, I haven't experienced this one, because I have been to manufacturing, to service. I've been to manufacturing a lot more, but to service, there were a few clients for this one. So I haven't gone through as far as design practice is concerned, because as far as the any organization is concerned, it is the humans which are watching these dashboards and which are taking decisions. So it all depends on the human which will be taking decision in by seeing the dashboard. So for industries, I'm definitely not sure it is different, but it depends on the human.
Okay. Okay, I have another personal question to ask you, Mohammed.
Yes.
During your presentation, you opened your PowerPoint. So basically,
Yes.
me as a person, I do design also. So, but I don't really use PowerPoint. I actually started using PowerPoint, but I didn't really like it. So don't tell me that, is it preferable to do your dashboard design on PowerPoint, or you just prefer doing it on your own Power BI? Which one is preferable?
Well, as far as PowerPoint is concerned, you will have to put an extra effort in order to design, because once you design in Power BI, then you won't be facing the issue of the location or of the size. So what I will do, I finish up with a dashboard, and I want to just highlight things. So there are shades, there are colors, so all the things are separate from each other. So once I design in PowerPoint, so there are certain 1 or 2 versions to get the things right. Yeah, it doesn't come in just one go. But there are practices, and I have designed certain dashboards where I haven't used any PowerPoint background. I just used the background of Power BI and did all the work. But personally, as of late, once I am progressing ahead with designing certain dashboards, so now I prefer to go with an image which has certain boxes and certain highlights. And it depends on which tool which you can prepare those elements. So for me, it's easy to use PowerPoint for that one. But of late, I'm just much more kind of an advocate of using a standard image behind your dashboard, not to use the PowerPoint Power BI formatting, but to just go for a picture and then use the charts and all those things in front of them.
Wow. Thank you. So, Mohammed, we in the house want to ask this question now. Would you like to share your unique journey with us concerning the field of Power BI?
Of course, why not?
How you started?
Yes, so I have been to definitely finance for quite a long time. So once I've been to finance, so my 2/3 part was in analysis. My 1/3 part was in bookkeeping and all those things. So I've started my organization in August 2019. So it will be 2 years and 2 months. But the last job which I left was in the government organization, and I worked there for about 9 years, and I was a senior specialist over there. So I tend to work extensively with international development partners. So in international development partners, if you're working, so the documentation is very important, and you tend to work with them and prepare documents with some fancy charts and all those things. So I work with all the renowned international development partners, whether it is ADB, World Bank, JICA. So my first interaction was because of the visuals of BI tool. So I think it was 4 years back once I was introduced to both Tableau and Power BI. So I worked extensively for both of them, and the thing was, I just want some fancy charts which you cannot make in Excel. So I just use both Tableau and Power BI for those fancy charts. But later on, once I moved along, so I realized that there are certain things in intelligence in Power BI, especially in Power BI, and you can just analyze data much more extensively. And I use that one to create insights for my reports. And then I realized that is quite an amazing thing. And as a finance professional, because a finance professional tends to play with numbers altogether and throughout their life, and they are also some of them tend to work with business data. So I was lucky enough to work with the business data as well. So I was really amazed about the DAX engine of Power BI. Once I mixed the business data with the finance data and extracted insights, so that was an amazing thing. I was attracted by the visuals, but I was hooked up because of the DAX engine, the analysis engine. And once I go deep in this one, then the analysis, insights, AI visuals. So Power BI never left me since then, since 4 years.
Wow. That's amazing. Actually, I think what actually brought me to Power BI is almost the same thing also. Well, I was actually intrigued by the design and what you could do with it. So I want to ask another question. What advice do you have for people that are just starting out over here in Nigeria? Like, don't want to be like you. Like, what advice do you have for us?
So my advice is just to understand not only the visuals, but go deep in learning the basics of data management. So how, because if you're working in Power BI, so you know that you should understand the data types, data modeling. So you should understand the fact tables, the dimension tables, all those tables. As a finance professionals, we tend to work in flat files. So as a finance professionals, if we want certain analysis, so we request the ERP to just give us these numbers. These are the items, and give me this number from this period to this period. So they will fetch all the numbers. But behind that ERP, what is the database which we are working? So the important thing is to understand the fundamentals. The fundamentals are, DAX is one of them, but data modeling and understanding the type of tables is an important thing, which is definitely not taught as a finance professional. So you will have to self-learn yourself. So this is one of the important thing. Definitely do explore the visuals, all those things, but try to understand the basics, the fundamentals, the data modeling, the data types, and how you can create various relationships, because we are very alien to those relationships. So what are 4 types of relationships, and how they are directional, bidirectional. So they are not in our course. But once you are starting those journeys, so you will have to go in depth on those things. So what type of relationships are there, how you can match the tables accordingly, and you can move on. So this is one of the advice. Just do experience Power BI, definitely, but go with the basics, which is needed, the relationships, the data models, and then explore the DAX function. And definitely DAX is an amazing thing. You can there are more than 250 of functions, I think. and I have not used 250 functions as yet. So I think it will take a lifetime to use all those 250 functions.
Sure. Okay, so Raymond is asking in the group chat, said that can we get a copy of the PowerPoint and Power BI file?
So I'll share the PowerPoint with you, and let me try to just normalize or anything. As far as Power BI is concerned, I'll talk you. Yeah, I'll give you my answer later on after this one. I can share any link where you can experience this Power BI file or something. But as far as PowerPoint is concerned, I'll share the PowerPoint file. Sure.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. So I want to ask you one more thing also. So we actually had an awesome section with you. So I want to know, in case of next time if we invite you, will you be available to show up next time for another webinar section like this?
Please, can you come again? I just missed the question.
Okay. I said we actually enjoyed your time. We want to thank you for taking your time to be with us. So I want to ask, in case of next time we have another webinar session, will you be available? If we
sure. I would love to present, definitely. Sure.
Okay. So is there any other question in the house? Any other question? Okay, so Mohammed, thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciate your time.
All pleasure is mine, and thank you, you and the team of Auspace. Definitely, it's an amazing team, and thank you, Michael, and your team for inviting me to this prestigious crowd. And I loved over here, loved presenting over here, and love to come back again.
Okay, thank you very much, Mohammed. So, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.